Welcome to the Positive Pants Podcast. Mindset, motivation, and inspiration to help you find your positive pants. Let go of negative thinking and stop living for the weekend. With your host, Fran Excel.
So welcome to the show. As always, it's Fran Excel Mindset Coach, helping you find your very own pair of positive pants so you can get out of your own way and live a life that you love. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm very grateful you've chosen to put me in your earbuds today. Please do hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything, and do leave me a review. I love reading them, and it really helps me get found by other people who need to hear what I share. I'd also love you to email me your mindset and productivity questions or topics you'd love me to cover to hello@franexcel.com, because I know a lot of you think I'm inside your heads because you tell me all the time. But if I don't know what you need, I can't give it to you. So let me know. So do you not take certain actions in your business or your life, to be fair, because you fear getting a no? Do you stop yourself advertising your services or putting out a promo post because you fear the no? We've all been there at some point. I hear you. However, after 15 years in sales, including plentiful cold calling, I know a thing or two about the no. And I'd like to try and give you a little bit of a different perspective that may help you take that next step, because selling and putting yourself out there to hear no from time to time is fundamental to your business. Without it, you don't have one. Yeah. So it's time to stop looking at a no as a failure. Ugh, you know how I hate that word. So getting a no can actually be a good thing. Huh? I hear you say. I remember when I first started working in London, I started in classified advertising sales at a big national newspaper for their magazines. So I was cold calling independent financial advisors every day, and it terrified me every day. How I even got the job in the first place, I don't know, because it was so wildly different from my personality to have a job like that. I was very self-conscious, had a huge fear of rejection, and no confidence in myself, let alone my ability to sell. So that doesn't really make for the best salesperson on paper, really, does it? But little did I know that once I was able to get out my own way, it was actually the start of a very successful career working for some of the UK's biggest newspaper and magazine brands. But it was horrendous. I don't wish cold calling on anybody. However, I was 100%, it was absolutely an amazing foundation in sales, in having difficult conversations, how to not take a no personally, how relationships and building rapport were the key to everything, and that getting a no was not, most of the time, a reflection on me. It was not a reflection of my own self-worth, and it's the same for you. So don't fear rejection. Nobody likes to get rejected. You know, it's one of the top fears as a business owner, along with failure. So a no, in this sense, can feel kind of like a complete double whammy on the gut punch front. But on the other side, when you're on the receiving end of it, it's really easy to say no when you don't know someone, when you haven't built that relationship with them yet. So that's something that you need to do, however you do that, whether that's through your posting, whether that's through actually building a relationship with someone, whether that's on Instagram or over email or whatever. But the average person needs to see a message at least 7 times on average before saying yes. And even then, there are certain mental barriers that we can put up, certain objections, stories that we tell ourselves. We often need a little scarcity to get us off the fence at times, you know, to help us make that decision. And so many other factors that contribute to whether it's a yes or a no. But every no gets you closer to a yes. It's also great practice. And what does practice make? You know, you get to analyze what works for you and what doesn't, and tweak and test over time. You know, treat it like an experiment. But there's also really something to be said for finding your way to sell. Yeah, if you're trying to sell something in a way that you would never buy from, then you're highly likely to sabotage yourself, because it will feel fundamentally against your values. And also, if you're trying to sell in a way that would annoy you, it's highly likely to annoy your ideal client, because our ideal client is often, not always by any stretch of the imagination, but often some version of ourselves. So how would you feel about something, or how would you have felt about something, is often a good indicator of how your audience might feel. So next thing I want you to think about is, don't make that no mean something it doesn't. So for example, if you don't make that one sale, it means you're not good enough and your business is never going to work and you may as well quit now. Really? So remember, when you're running a service-based business, you're not only selling yourself, which can be scary, but it's a person on the other end of the line. You know, it's not a number. It's not just you being able to pay your bills. It's a real life human being with their own fears and feelings on the line. Yeah. So when you can come to the conversation and help them make the best decision for them, even if at this point it is a no, then that no will never feel bad or negative, because you've still helped someone and they'll remember that too. Yeah. You've helped them make a decision that's right for them and where they are at right now. You know, they will appreciate and absolutely respect you for guiding them through that. Because some of these conversations can be tough, especially when it's a big investment. But there are so many reasons why someone would say no, and most of which are nothing to do with you. So it could be timing, you know, genuine cost reasons, perceived time availability. They don't trust you yet, or they don't trust that your service completely solves their problem, which would be a messaging issue, not a you issue. You know, and the trust is just about, you haven't built that relationship yet. They may simply not be the right fit for you. You know, their problem may not be something you can actually help with. You know, they may have different criteria for what they're looking for right now. Perhaps they want the cheapest option and not the best option. You don't know. And it's best not to assume. Yeah, there are many other reasons, but these are some of the most common ones. But also, just because it's a no the first time round doesn't mean it will always be a no. It's important to seek feedback too where you can, so you can learn from the experience. And I know really can give you some great learnings. You know, not everyone will give you that feedback, but those that do can really shift your perspective on why it was a no in the first place, without making it all about you, without making it a negative. So ask the scary question. You know, what could have made this a yes for you? What could have made this a yes for you? And listen to the feedback. Yeah, it may be absolutely nothing to do with you. And then you can rest assured that, you know, that no was the right no. Or it could be a little tweak in what you're doing, or the messaging, or how you're pitching, or whatever, that can really serve you with the next client. Yeah. And this is also where a lot of sales can actually get turned around, because if the objection is something really solvable, you can actually help coach them through it. You know, the insights that you gain simply from asking are huge. You know, it's really very helpful to notice where your focus is going into these calls. Like, if your focus is on the no, whether it's a call or in person or an email, you know, if your focus is on that no before you even put out the post or get on the call, your energy is going to come across, because you're not going to feel authentic. You know, when you really trust, you're thinking, like, you will do anything to make sure that the person on the other side, that whose problems you can solve, you will let them know. Yeah. But if you can shift that focus on the negatives of a potential no to one of service to that person on the other end and a potential yes, then you will approach it in a much better headspace, with a much better energy. And then that will come across. Yeah. Your confidence in what you're selling. If you're not confident you're going to sell, it will come across as if you're not confident in what you're selling, whether that's true or not. You know, remember, you're always selling anyway. Always. When you're talking to your spouse or your friends or your kids, and you're trying to get them to do what's right for them, or what you want them to do, that's selling and negotiating. You know, it's really easy to focus on like a sales call or a sales conversation as a big scary thing, when it's plain and simple a conversation where you're both trying to see if you're the right fit for each other and helping someone make a potentially big decision. And as much as you're making a no mean something specific to you, they could be making a yes mean something specific to them or about them. They may not feel worthy enough of the investment in themselves, which is a huge reason that people can say no to a big investment. Huge. But there are also a ton of assumptions and stories that we make when we're going into a call or on a call. Often we've decided if this person is going to work with us before they even get on the phone, based on what they may or may not have said on an intake form. But that's just what they are: opinions, assumptions, and stories. They aren't fact. We can't make this stuff up in our heads. Well, we can, but it's not going to help. If you don't sell, you won't have a business. It's plain and simple. If you don't find the way to market your product, and there is a way for you. If people aren't aware that you can solve their problems, how can you solve them? And when you feel that fear bubbling up, ask yourself what happens if you don't sell. Best case scenario, worst case scenario. If you don't put yourself out there for a potential no, are you denying help to someone who could be helped by you? So try and take it away from what it means for you and your business. What does it mean for the people on the other side of it? Listen to what you're telling yourself about selling or getting a no. What are you making it mean? What do you believe about sales and selling? Like, do you see it as sleazy or off service? What image do you get when you think of someone selling to you? Ask yourself what you make a yes mean. If you're not confident, like I was saying before, if you're not confident in what you're selling, you may be just as fearful of the yes in case you can't deliver. But when you can work out what some of these beliefs actually are, you can challenge them. Woohoo, we know this. So instead of simply focusing on the negatives of getting a no, what could be some potential positives? Based on some of the things we've already said, what could be some other potential positives? Remember, you can also say no to a potential client. If they aren't the right fit for you, you get to say no. You get to say so. So it's not a one-sided thing. If you started your business because you wanted to help people in some way, then help them by telling them you can help them solve their problems. And if you are confident in your product or service and the difference you could make to someone's life, why would you not put yourself out there for the no? What if it's a yes and you can change someone's life for the better? So I hope that gave you a little bit of a different perspective. So if you got value from this and you know in your gut that now is the time to step up and start rewiring your thinking and changing things for yourself, then book in a free discovery call so we can work out what needs to happen to get you from where you're at right now to the action-taking success you know you can be. And if you want my eyes and ears on your problems, I work with people one-on-one and through my Proactive Pants Mastermind. So stop waiting for if and when and decide to change things now, because you can. And as always, I hope that was helpful. So any questions, just let me know. And as always, I will see you next week. Bye.